What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. Today behind me we have our 22 F350, and it has a 6.7 liter diesel. It's the Platinum, all of that kind of stuff. And I have done a bunch of accessories, and you guys have probably seen those videos already, but we're gonna do a little bit of an overview on the things that I've done already on the truck, and then things that I want to do. So we're just gonna kind of pack this all into one video. And if you just bought one of these trucks and you're looking to accessorize, maybe there's some things on here you'd want to do, and maybe some of the directions I want to go, you would like to go as well. All right, so the first mod that I did was wheels and tires, because the factory wheels and tires just make this truck look so skinny, and I wanted a little bit of stance on it. So first off, I went and got these TIS 20-inch wheels. They are a -18 offset, and then I have the Toyo Open Country mud terrains. They do buzz a little bit on the highway. They're nothing like a mud grappler or anything like that. It's actually kind of just nice white noise almost, but if you're looking for super quiet, these don't do that. I mean, you probably want to go with like an all-terrain or something like that, or a hybrid tire. But these definitely look aggressive on the truck, and I had these from the Rebel. We actually went to the BF Goodrich ATKO2s on that one and quietened it up a lot. But you can see we do have nice stance on the truck. There's no spacers whatsoever. -18 is the mildest for this wheel, and I think it looks really, really nice. Suspension wise, I did do just some easy bolt-on stuff just to kind of make this setup work, and you can see the stance is a little bit better than what you're going to get from the factory. I did do it was a super lift block that just goes underneath the perch on the spring, so it's kind of cheap and easy. And then I did the kryptonite sway bar drop just to make everything work geometry wise. And then I changed the track bar to one from Baja Customs, which is a lot more heavy duty, using Heim joints. If you guys want to go back, all this stuff is in the videos with a playlist for this truck. So if you want to get individual things, there is the installs on all these different products. Also, I do have the steering stabilizer shocks, the dual shocks from Rough Country. And even though this truck was an FX4, it is an FX4 truck, it doesn't come with Ranchos anymore like they used to. They're just a black shock. I'm pretty sure they're probably the same as every truck comes with that isn't a Tremor. And I've heard there's Tremor issues with those shocks anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But we did go to the N3 nitrogen shocks all the way around on this from Rough Country, and it rides really, really nice. Now, as we step inside, you can see we do have the light up Platinum, and we went over this as well. This is from an earlier model. I think it's from a 2019, because they went away from these in like 2020, and the wire was still there on my truck. But not all the trucks have the wire. It's just something that you have to look for if you want to do this, but it was very easy to just buy these. They were like 300 bucks. Both front doors have them and have the plugs, and they just work like they would from the factory. And then over here we do have our Banks eye dash. You can do 2 eye dashes if you want. You can do 1 like I did. This is actually just kind of a cheap A-pillar thing that you can get from, it was Autometer made it. It's not the greatest quality, but now Banks actually makes a bracket for a single that goes into the bottom of your handle on your factory A-pillar. So I probably will be switching this one up to that, just because of the color of the interior is a little bit different than this one, and I just want everything to match. And this was the best option at the time, but now that things have progressed, Banks has caught up and got that available for you guys out there if you want to do the eye dash, which I definitely recommend. Also, we do have the Starlight headliner, which has got mixed reviews, but I absolutely love it. The quality of it is really, really good. I've seen so many bad ones, but this one looks exactly what you would expect from like a Rolls-Royce quality. And the guy that did this, his name is Cole. He has 814 Customs. He's out in Pennsylvania, I think central Pennsylvania somewhere. So if you guys are looking to get quality work done, definitely check him out. And then something you probably can't see, but under the dash, I have a little knob hidden, and that is actually our BD Diesel high idle switch, which goes directly into the factory plug over on the passenger side. And then you just put your e-brake on and you turn up that knob as long as you're in park, and you can raise your idle up for accessories or just to warm the engine up or whatever you want to do, and you can pick your idle speed. I know they do it automatically in the cold weather, so some people are like, oh, why would you do that? Well, I mean, it just gives you that option. If you want to do it manually, you can. So BD Diesel, you can get your high idle exactly where you want it. Then around back here over the bed, we do have our Rough Country tonneau cover, and this one is a very good value for what you have to pay for it. I believe these go for about 800 bucks, and they're a hard cover. So, I mean, as you can see, everything fits really nicely. Everything works as it should. I've had this on pretty much from day one, and you can see how the weather has really not taken too much of a toll on it. There's a tiny bit of oxidation on the rubbers, but as far as this goes, I mean, it looks like the day I bought it. or the day that I received it from our good friends over at Rough Country. And the only thing I wish it did is fold up on the third stage, which it does not, but you can get these two open, and I've really not needed it to be fully open at all, unless I wanted to put a four-wheeler in here or something like that. But if you want to do that, all you have to do is undo the entire tonneau cover and just take it off, which is pretty easy to do. The rails stay in, and that's kind of how it's meant to be used. So if you opt for a 350, which I do recommend, unless you have some sort of reason that you would want to go with a 250, the 350 is just built heavier, and with that, you do get a 3-inch receiver. So I got a billet aluminum hitch for this. This is the 180. It's been worked really well. And you don't have to have any adapters, which is kind of a pain in the butt to always have to deal with. But if you want to get a nice 3-inch hitch, they're available out there, and it looks awesome. And if you like LED lights like I do, we do have the C-rings turned up. So A-Rod did that with ForScan, so you can go in there and turn the brightness up. This thing is a super bright truck at night. I get brighted all the time, but you know what? It is just what it is. You know, people got to deal with it. We do have our rock lights, and I only put one pod in each of the corners, and then I have some underneath here in the front and in the rear as well. And I think I'm going to add a couple for the middle just to kind of light up everything. But these are from Overkill Lighting, very, very good quality. They've worked awesome. They're just a solid white, but the quality of the light is really good. It's not bluish or anything like that. These are from Recon, and they're not bad. They're decent. They're very expensive. I think these were like $400 or $500, and the quality of the chrome is not the greatest. So I do have plans where I'm just going to take the original ones, the platinum ones, and I'm going to be able to get that chrome part and just kind of blend together. But if you see on mine, if you look on their website, these are all just a solid white. You can change colors. You can do blue, you can do amber, you can do red, but mine are in the white setting, and I did actually get the overlays for these just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. And now as we go down to the rear of the truck, you can see we have that beautiful Banks diff cover. Gives a whole lot more cooling. It's aluminum, which replaces that ugly steel when it comes from the factory. Makes your maintenance a whole lot easier. It gives you an option to put a temp probe in there. It's just a really nice product from Banks. So now that we have the lights on, I'll give you guys a little peek under here. We do have our big valence still. You can see our dual shock there. You can see that big Heim joint right there for our track bar, and our lights under here just makes the truck look so clean. Now let's get to that 6.7 liter power stroke. And you can see we have this beautiful underhood insulation with the light, which on a 22 you're not going to see, but you can order it. I made a video on it, how to do it. Everything works just like factory and looks absolutely awesome, because without this you have ugly glue and primer and everything. I don't know why they leave it like that, but I guess they're just cheaping out, and it's just less parts, less money. And you still pay the same price, actually probably more. But over here you can see we have our Banks Ram Air. Absolutely awesome system. The filter on this thing is huge. Go check the video out on that, on this install. Definitely allows this truck to breathe a whole lot better. And then, well, yes, the elephant in the room, we do have a CP4 pump on this truck. So everybody knows that those can cause you some pretty nasty repair bills. So we have our disaster prevention kit over there from S&S. I have written right on there on the filter when I did the kit, so I know when to change that filter. I'm just going to change it when I change the rest of my fuel filters. But shortly after I installed the disaster prevention kit, there is actually a way to prevent disaster altogether, and you can actually get rid of the CP4 and put in a DCR pump. One option is to do the protection. So if your CP4 goes, you're in it for a CP4 pump, and I think the lines that go into the filter, all of that, you probably replace, and then you're on the road again. If you do not have that return filter, all that debris is going to go directly into all your injectors, into your fuel tank, all of that. It's like a $16,000 big repair bill, and this will minimize that. But if you want to go a little bit more money, like it's a little over $2,000, you can replace the CP4 altogether. This you don't need anymore, and then you end up with the DCR pump, which will run this truck absolutely awesome. I know a few people running it, they absolutely love it, and it's probably the direction I'm gonna go in the future. Then that brings us to our first wish list item, and that is our upper intake and piping. I wanna go with the pusher system. I think it looks really good. You can order it in a raw form, so you can get a powder coat or whatever color you want, but I think that's really gonna look good under the engine compartment, and I hear it gets a nice sound as well, and you eliminate some of the restriction and the plastic cold side and all of that. So our next wish list item is going to be eliminating our level kit and just getting a real suspension onto this truck. And I'm going to be looking into PMF. I think PMF has a very, very high quality system. And I just want to do like the custom powder coating and just make this truck look really clean and nice. I don't want to go crazy like Broad's truck, SEMA truck, all of that. These trucks are big enough just from the factory, and I still want to tow with it. I still want the wife and kids to be able to get in and out of it with sense. And I just want a nice, clean looking daily driver truck. So I think PMF is going to be the answer for that, and possibly going with some King shocks to give it a really nice ride. I think it's going to really improve just the drivability down the highway with this thing, and it's just going to be an awesome truck to drive. I mean, it is a little bit rough right now just because we are using a spacer for the leveling kit, and anybody knows that drives a Super Duty, the ride quality definitely can use some improvement. And then there's an obvious mod that I think everybody that has one of these trucks wants to do, but unfortunately, we're not allowed to do that. Also, if you've been underneath one of these trucks, you will see that they do have a plastic transmission pan, and the lower oil pan on these is actually really easy to change. It's right out in the open, and you can order a new oil pan which allows a little bit more oil, so you're going to have a little bit more detergent, a little bit more volume for better cooling and all of that. And I think it also has some cooling fins on there. It's just going to help everything stay nice and cool and clean and all of that. And I think changing the lower oil pan and the transmission pan eventually will probably be on the list as well. Another thing that you can get for these trucks is an S&B fuel tank, which gives you a way bigger capacity, which is really nice if you're towing a lot, you're traveling or using your truck for work, and you don't want to be stopping for fuel all the time. That can definitely save you some time, make you a little bit more money if time is money for you. For me, it's not really a big deal. I'm pretty good with the tank that's on here, but never know, it might be an option for me in the future. Another thing I would like to do is get rid of this upper fuel filter, just kind of get that factory one out of there and go to a Baldwin. I think H&S has a kit for this. We can swap it over. Also underneath, you can eliminate your fuel filter by the tank, and they have an adapter which will go to a cat filter. It has a water separator on it that you can drain. That's probably going to be another thing that I want to add to this truck. And then one issue I do have with this truck is there is not a lot of storage. I mean, you do have a little bit under the back seat, but if you have stuff in the bed, it's just kind of sliding around. So I do have a solution for that that will be on an upcoming video, and we're going to be installing one in this truck and one on the Raptor as well. So there it is, everybody, our 22 Super Duty as it sits today, and some of the things that I am thinking about getting for the future to make this truck even better, because obviously if you are a car enthusiast or truck enthusiast, you definitely want to make your truck your own, and this is kind of how far I've gotten so far on this platform, and I absolutely love it. So with that being said, if you guys made it to this point in the video, drop truck in the comment section or anything you'd like to say, maybe some of the things that you'd want to add to your truck, maybe some of the things that I didn't even mention that I should know about, and maybe I should be going to look into as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and as always, keep that hammer down.